Well, this is it, where it all began. We step inside the lair, take a look at the evil witch herself, Gruntilda, because we are going to be face to face with her just moments away from now. Because it is time to take on the final boss fight of the game. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. At the end of the last episode, we finished and completed Grunty's Furnace Fun, a quiz show that was created by the evil Gruntilda. However, her plans failed. She did not stop us from going further. We actually rescued our sister Tooty already, but it is now time to take out our revenge on the evil witch Gruntilda. So now it is time to go ahead and get some more golden feathers, and we're going to go ahead and jump into this cauldron and take us back over to the entrance to Click Clock Wood. Travel back to that note door we were just outside of previously. I will meet you there. When the back of Grunty's hand whoops your butt, you'll hardly stand. That was probably one of her worst rhymes at all, but it is now finally time to open up the next note door. As you can see, we of course have all 900 notes, so it only takes 810 to open this bad boy up, and here we are. This is it right here, the final section of Gruntilda's lair. We have our final puzzle challenge. It is completely covered. However, since we have plenty of jiggies, we have every single jiggy in the game that there is to complete. Blow a little dramatic progress here, and it is a picture of Gruntilda herself, and that is the door where we need to go face off with the green evil witch herself. And if you actually go into this room, as you can see, we have a dark cloaked gruntling. So this is actually the area where she takes Tooty into the machine and swaps essentially the prettiness with her. And this is the game over screen that we see, and this is the background. It's kind of cool to see the the machines here. Of course, Klungo operates that little lever in the middle there when you see the game over screen. So kind of cool that they let you kind of visit this room. It's kind of a room that we saw, a room that we see in the game over screen, and a room you wouldn't necessarily, really wouldn't think you would be able to access. So it's kind of nice that they allow you to kind of go in there and kind of look around a little bit. Nothing hidden in there, just a little Easter egg, I guess, even though it's, still part of Gruntilda's lair. But now if we enter into this room, we have another cauldron. Ew, what a disgusting smell. Oh, visitors for Dingpot. I like visitors. It's a wonder you get any sewer breath. Okay, that one was worthy. Ah, what does strange birdie thing mean? She said we're looking for Gruntilda? Do you know where she is? I sure do, Mr. Bear. Grunty's awful, She was sicking me earlier on. If you can get rid of her, I'll be free. Don't be sure, you silly pot. Soon I'll have you nice and hot. See these filthy clothes I've got. When I've won, you'll wash the lot. Don't worry, Dingpot. We'll sort her out if you can find us a way up there. So yes, this is Dingpot, essentially. I didn't really say that yet. So he was from the beginning of the game. If you remember that very first introductory cutscene where essentially Gruntilda is taking a look at Banjo's sister and she's jealous of her and she's essentially moping around. He is our key, essentially, to getting to Gruntilda. So kind of cool that they kind of add him as like the last little helper in the lair to kind of get us to the final fight. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and unlock these final note doors. These are the very last note doors of the game. This first one allows you to have a full refill on red feathers. And then we have a few more other note doors that we have to unlock as well. So this is where the game rewards you for completing it at 100% completion. Of course, we have all 900 notes. I believe you only need, I think it's like 882 is the furthest one. But if we open this one up, we get a max blue egg refill. So this will always refill our blue eggs to max. And it looks like we already have them at maxed out. So kind of nice. This note door over here, once we open this, will give us a max gold feather refill. So very nice. You get a max refill on all your feathers and eggs by just coming into this room. And again, for of course, collecting a certain amount of notes. And then this door, which is the max amount of notes you need to unlock, gives us an even better prize. We have another puzzle challenge, and it's covered in honey. And it will reveal a picture of an empty honeycomb. And what this will do will give you what I like to call double defense. So in other words, you essentially have a double life bar. You will now essentially have twice the amount of health that you did previously. So whether or not you collected all the extra honeycombs, that will give you double damage, is what I like to call it. But now it is time to jump into good old Dingpot. He's going to send us soaring up to the final fight. This is it. So yes, this is the final boss fight. I can't believe that furry pair got right up here. It's so unfair. But now the stupid bear must fight. This battle tests your skill and might. So this is the final fight with Gruntilda herself. This fight has 5 total phases. Yes, believe it or not. This first phase, she is going to swoop down at you on her broomstick. You have to wait until it breaks down kind of like an old car, and you want to go ahead and use Kazooie's Rat-a-tat-rap attack to punch a hole in her booty. Yeah, not literally, but yeah, that will essentially do damage to her, of course, when she's in midair. She's going to continue to swoop down, I think, a couple more times. However, she's going to do it a little bit longer each and every time she does it. She's also going to chuck fireballs at you as well, so you want to make sure to be careful and stay alert of where she is. Now she's broken down again. We'll go ahead and beak her to peck the heck out of her booty. Go ahead and avoid her little swoop down attack. And I have to say, this is probably one of the easiest phases. Of course, it's her first phase. But there's a lot more to this fight. And this fight is no joke. She is not a pushover, I have to say. Go ahead and peck her little butt there. She is also going to go ahead and cast that little green spell that's going to target you. There are only 2 ways to get through that green spell. You cannot get away from it. It will essentially lock onto you where you cannot avoid it. The only 2 ways to get rid of that green spell is you can use the Beak Buster move to destroy it, or you can use the Wonder Wing to deflect it. This is her second phase, so she is essentially going to chuck fireballs at us from the side of the tower walls. What you want to do here is you want to, of course, avoid her fireballs. And then once she takes a little bit of a breather there between fireball attacks, you want to jump onto these stones and you want to fire Kazooie's blue eggs at her. I think it takes at least 3 of them for her to move sides. But that's a good thing because that means she's taking damage. So each time you fire 3 blue eggs at her, she is going to take enough damage to where she's essentially going to continue to move. Every time she moves and the more she is damaged, she is going to continuously chuck fireballs at you as fast as possible. So there's going to be less breaks in between, and there's going to be more fireballs at a time. And also, the aiming of the fireballs is going to be a lot more unpredictable. Some will lock on directly to Banjo, some will move away from you, or some will lock on to the path exactly where you're walking. You want to pay very close attention and be very vigilant during this phase. Another thing that you want to keep in mind during this final boss fight, you want to not get hit as many times as possible. So the less you are damaged, the better it's going to be for the end of the fight. You want to at least survive her first 3, maybe 4 phases. Here's her lock-on spell again. You want to go ahead and use the Wonder Wing to kind of make fine work of that. And now it is time for phase 3. So this thing is moving very fast. We are now going to be taking the fight to the air. So as you can see, we are given a flight pad. This phase involves, of course, using our aerial attack with Kazooie. We want to use the Beak Bomb move that we learned in one of our favorite worlds of the game. And we want to do justice. We want to do good by our sister Tooty, and we want to serve this witch up a nice cream of jolly justice. So, of course, we want to aim at her, and you want to use the Beak Bomb move to peck right into her freaking side, because what better way to take her out directly What better way to take this witch on than directly in the air as we're pecking the crap out of her? This has to hurt. I can only imagine. She is going to continue to chuck fireballs at you, so you just want to make sure you steer clear away from the fireballs. And another thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure where you're aiming at. You want to make sure you're not aiming in the wrong direction, because if you do, for example, if you're up in the air like this and you go down, that sounds horrible. But if you aim directly down onto her and use the beak bomb move, you can land on top of the tower and actually fall right off, because you will do a little bit of a stumble if you do not land correctly while using the beak bomb attack. Trust me, I've done that many times, and I've essentially done this, and somehow he lands on, or somehow I land on the top of the tower and then essentially fall off because it's just bad. But now it's time for phase 4. So she is essentially going to still be in the air, but she's going to cast a force field around her. So we are essentially blocked from attacking her directly in any way, shape, or form. Using the beak bomb move now will do absolutely nothing. But if you remember, we saved our good friends the Jinjos, and this is where they come in use. Yes, so this is essentially the reward we get for saving and freeing our wonderful Jinjo friends. They are now going to give us these statues where we have to essentially break them open by firing eggs in this little hole in the front of it. That's going to activate the first Jinjo, and it's going to attack Gruntilda, trying to bust through her force field. However, it's not going to be strong enough. As you can see, we have multiple statues to open, so we want to continue to do just that, while making sure we avoid her fireballs and, of course, occasionally the lock-on spell that she will cast at us. Green Jinjo's up and about, and he is taking matters into his own hands. He is going to hit Grunty with everything he's got. I love that guy. But now it is time for statue number 3. It looks like purple Jinjo over there. And now we have another statue we're working on as well, the yellow ones. Yes, just a few eggs will do it. These guys will break free in a matter of seconds, and they're going to bust through that force field like so. Useless broomsticks I can't stand. It's left me stranded back on land. So she is now fallen off her broomstick, and she is now resurfaced back on top of the lair. This phase is her final phase. As you can see, she is wasting no time with her spell casting, but it is now time for the mighty Jinjonator statue to appear. So this is the final part of the fight, and this is why I said it's very important to keep as many honeycombs and hits as you can. As you can see, she is going absolutely ballistic with her spell casting. As you can see, the fireballs are like continuous. We now have that green lock-on spell to worry about as well. Also, keep in mind, your golden feathers are going to be very important. You want to make sure you continue collecting some that are up here if you run out. Or if you're comfortable enough to do the beak buster move to get rid of that spell right there that I totally missed, then you can do that as well. But the other objective is now we have 4 different holes to cast our eggs into. This is a giant Jinjonator statue. We have to do things right, and we have to fill 4 holes. That sounds awful. I don't care. That's what we're doing. But once we get the 4th one done, it'll be game over. So essentially what you want to do, I always start with either the front or the sides, because that's where it's easier for her to hit you. The sides are probably where I would start, and then the back, and then the front maybe. But as long as you get the sides first, this is cake. And as you can see, we have activated Jinjonator. The Jinjonator! And this is it. Yeah, even Grunty's scared. She's shaking in her boots. Never seen her that worried ever. Boom! I love this. Bam! Look at this. Boom! Yeah, she is done for. This is it. When I played this game the first time, I never saw this ending coming. I love how epic this is. It's so random, but I love it at the same time. It's all over, I can tell, but Grunty's got just one more spell, so she's gonna cast that one last green spell at us, but it's gonna miss because she sucks and she lost to a bear and a bird. Shouldn't have came after his sister, man. That's what you get. So she's gonna fall down to her near death. She's gonna be crushed by what's seemingly a large boulder, which I mean essentially should kill her if we're talking, realism here. But of course it's not, because we know this game has a sequel, so she does live. Barely, but she does live, so kind of disappointing. But Grunty's fate, this should not be, so hurry Klungo, rescue me. So she's still ordering her freaking minion around Klungo even when she's near death. Like, this woman is freaking determined. I have to say, she's very persistent. But now we get a nice little ending scene here, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes of the game, as few of the scenes that we actually get in the game as far as cutscenes. But now everybody's essentially on vacation. Grunty is taken care of, Tooty's fine, well and alive. We have some nice melons coming at us right now, and we have Blubber. Look at this guy, he's on a jet ski. He's definitely turned his life around. He was depressed about his gold, and I guess now he's spending it, so he's doing what the rich hippos do best, I guess. Ah, this is great. Have we finished now, Tooty? Can I relax? Hopefully. Sure, Banjo. You and Kazooie are heroes now. Did you hear that, Shorty? I'm a hero. My goodness, Kazooie. Yes, I suppose you are. Well done, Kazooie. Thanks, Goggles. You're not so dumb after all. Wow, she has a heart after all. That's enough, Kazooie. Let's all watch the cast list now. I love the breaking of the fourth wall here. So yeah, so this is it. This is the final credits sequence of the game. This is the very end here. Of course, we're going to go through all the NPCs and all the main... I guess if you include these vegetable guys as main characters. Yeah, most of the main characters are, of course, going to be shown in these credit scenes. Just like we saw before when I guess we thought the game was over after finishing Grunty's Furnace Fun. But no, this is it. This is for real now. We have officially beat the game. This is Banjo-Kazooie's credit sequence. I have to say, I know I pretty much talked a lot about the game already in the first credit sequence. There's not really left to say in terms of what I think of this game and just how wonderful it is and all the good things they did right with this, and even some of the the cons, but definitely the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to this game. Yeah, there's not really much left to say other than I had a very fun time doing this Let's Play, I have to say. I initially was going into this thinking that I was going to forget a lot of things, which at times that did happen in some of the worlds, especially later on, but for the most part, I really kind of fell in love with this game all over again. And I know that's kind of cringy to say that, but this was a game I grew up as a child with. This was a game that I grew up with, during my childhood. And even though at the time I didn't realize how loved this game was by so many other people out there, it was just very special to me. And the characters felt very real, and it felt like a whole, essentially a whole different world that you kind of were able to escape into. Where you have all this important stuff going on. You have, of course, Banjo's sisters being taken, which is the main plot of the game. But you have all these NPCs and these quests and all these missions that you're required to do that feel very important, and everything is given a lot of value, and it feels very rewarding when you collect all the collectibles. You get everything in all the different worlds. You help, essentially satisfy all the NPCs. Yeah, the children of Boggy, that was one of the more rewarding things. I mean, they literally just were, looking for their missing presents for, the holidays, and unfortunately their father was out freaking sliding around and, being a horrible dad and not, not tending to his children when he needed to the most. But just, simple things like that in this game just really kind of make it feel very warm, and it just has a very positive energy about it. And of course, it was, of course it is more of a kid's game, and I understand that, but they do a really good job. Even with the dialogue is very creatively written, and I know I said that before already, and I've kind of hit the nail over the head, so many times with this, but I have to say, I just cannot say, any more good things about this game. It has so many different creative level designs. I can pretty much get lost in almost every, world in a good way. In a bad way too, where I kind of forget where I am, but mostly in a good way where you just kind of, take in the environment. And even back in 1998. Like, this game just felt so alive and colorful, and just so detailed. Like, even like when you get into like some of the worlds where you're exploring, like inside of like the Rusty Bucket, you know, in Rusty Bucket Bay, where you have like the kitchen area, and there's like all this like this entire control room where you see like it just goes into so many details, where even a game like this that you would think would be meant for kids and is just kind of like, you know, sloppily put together for like a kid's game, it just wasn't like that. Like, it was very this game was designed and programmed very well, like almost perfection for that time era. Yeah, I can't really say I can't really say much more about it other than I just love this game, and it has a lot of replay value as well, where I can go back and replay this game any day of the week, never get tired of it, and still enjoy it, and kind of have like a new love for it every time. Like, it kind of recaptures like a new interest I have in it every time I play it. And there's also things that I learned that I never knew before. You know, a lot of new things that I learned along the way, even in this Let's Play, in this, you know, current playthrough, where playing it, you know, as many times as I have played it before, there, you know, are always those tiny details that I never really took the time to really look at very closely before. And it's mainly because I played the game over and over again, and because you're kind of, you know, expecting something to come as far as maybe like the main plots, you know, main NPCs that are coming up in a certain level, or things like that. But it's just awesome. Now we're gonna get back to another cutscene here. Have more melons. And Mumbo, what's he doing up in a tree? He's turned into like a koala or something. Nice one, Bone Brain. What's on those pictures? Yeah, he's got some pictures for us. Got pictures of things you missed. Secrets used in next game. Ooh. Spoiler. Oh, did you hear that, Kazooie? We're going to be in another game. Great. So let's see the pictures then, Skirt Boy. Man, Kazooie, you don't even take a day off. Did you get all 100 jigsaw pieces? We sure did. Shaman Boy. Mr. Mumbo. Yeah, so show us your secrets, Matt. Oh, wow, that was awful. I forgot that was in the dialogue. Pictures shows things you missed, secrets that are for a new game, Banjo-Kazooie, nuts and bolts. So fun fact, if you were playing the N64 version of this game, nuts and bolts in that dialogue would be replaced with Banjo-Tooie. Of course, the N64 version came out before this version, so they actually replaced it with Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts because, of course, this is the Xbox Live Arcade version. Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts came out around this time, I believe, when this was ported to the Xbox. But yeah, so essentially what Mumbo is, the pictures that Mumbo has here are essentially the locations for all of the different stop and swap eggs. So this was a feature I kind of touched on a little bit in the Let's Play, but didn't really go too far in depth with it. The first one there, of course, you see Banjo walking into that little cove that's actually located in Treasure Trove Cove. And as you can see, he's climbing up this little area here where you have the shock jump pads. Yeah, like I said, I could have chose to show off some of these locations. I didn't really see it necessary because I remember that they did this at the end, and I kind of felt like it made more sense just to kind of show this right here at the end of the Let's Play, right after the final boss fight, just to kind of give you like the idea as far as like what the stop and swap function is. They don't really explain a lot about it other than like where all the egg locations are. But essentially, the stop and swap function of Banjo-Kazooie was mainly meant for the N64 version, where you essentially would, it was essentially going to be a feature where you had to essentially remove your Banjo-Kazooie cartridge out of the N64 and quickly swap it with the Banjo-Tooie cartridge. And that essentially gave you new unlockables in the game that you would not be able to unlock otherwise. The feature kind of didn't quite work the way they expected it, so they essentially took it out, or they essentially tweaked it in the Xbox version, and it's a lot better now, where you essentially just have to collect all the eggs. And there's also an ice key in the sequel of this game that connect to the stop and swap function to both games. So you essentially would receive extra unlockable rewards for collecting all the stop and swap eggs. So kind of cool. So that is it for Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. There is really nothing left for me to show in this Let's Play. And now, as you can see, we have Klungo here. Rock so heavy, but Klungo must rescue Mistress. But I enjoyed this. Thank you anyone that was watching this and enjoyed this as well. Looks like Grunty's going to be back. She is not done yet. Maybe someday I will do the sequel to this game. Not sure at this time. But that is it for now. Thank you for watching Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. I will see you next time.